Salutations, every pup, and welcome to Chapter 17 of Sorry, Wrong Number by ShizunaRey. As always, the link to the fic will be in the description below. And with that out of the way, let's jump on into it. Chapter 17 Vomiting Words at this point. Author's notes. Last updated in December. I should probably change that. Also, if any of my fellow Moon Knight Meets writers is reading this, stop and update your fic because it's sitting in my bookmarks. Stephen was staring into the space between the tablet in front of him and the edge of the table. He really didn't know what to reply to the two superheroes that were still staring at him with a quiet and dangerous expectancy. He knew Mark and Jake were aware of what was happening, and he was glad that Mark was doing all right, but their presence wasn't really helping. Conchu was long gone after their screeching about disrespect and all. It was nice to not feel the pressure of their dead stare. The god was able to be quite unnerving at times, though these last few months they were more annoying than anything. Hawkeye was the one who interrupted the silence. "Quit spacing out and answer us, Spectre." Stephen looked up from the table, and his eyes traveled between the two spies. "Sorry, what's this?" The Black Widow let out a sigh and picked up the tablet once again before speaking up. "Listen, I know you just had a rough patch, but if you think even once that you can lie to us, you're in for a rough time." For good measure, the woman added in a firm, "Understood?" at the end. Stephen nodded, trying to not feel too threatened. "I didn't kill those people, if that is what you're asking. I don't even know them," Hawkeye replied. "One doesn't have to know a person to kill them." There was a dark, almost knowing undertone in his voice, and Stephen watched as the man tapped one of the many pictures on the tablet. The picture now filled up the whole screen. It was a man on the ground with about 2 visible shot wounds. Stephen averted his gaze from it. He felt Mark trying to reach out to him, but was quick to mentally push the man away. It was Stephen's turn to watch out for them. "I didn't kill them." The man just snorted, earning a disapproving look from the widow. "Mark, we know you did. There's no denying it. Besides, it's besides the point, really. What we need to know is if you possess any threat to us." "I don't!" "Prove it. Tell us everything." Stephen didn't know what they were expecting him to tell them. Did they really want to confess? Did they really want him to confess to murdering people? Or did they want information about the jackals? The Black Widow seemed to sense his distress and spoke up again. "Start explaining your relation to those creatures we fought. And remember, lying is useless. We're able to tell." And so he did. Or, well, he explained a slightly altered version. He started off by accidentally coming in contact with a small little golden bug. For good measurements in his asshole assassin role, he told them that he stole it from the museum he was working at. He told them about Harrow and how the man had found him and killed someone in front of him to get Mark to give him the scarab. He included the scales and staff in all of this. He started to explain the Avatar principle without disclosing to being one himself, and to what Harrow was trying to achieve. He told them that the scarab was a compass to lead Harrow to Amit, and that it was the reason the man found him in the first place. From then on, he retold the story pretty accurately, just with leaving Layla out of it. She didn't need to be involved in this whole thing, claiming to have been possessed by Khonshu, the Egyptian god of the moon, without having control over his actions. "It was terrible. I watched him use my body to kill those jackals, and even humans." Hawkeye's sympathetic hum reassured Stephen that they were buying the story. Mark and Jake's recoil at those words even made Stephen wince realistically. Time for apologies were due later. From then on, it was easy to continue, coding his actions as those of the god he was possessed by, and finally ending his story with the dramatic battle of Amit versus Khonshu, in which both gods died. Hawkeye and Black Widow thanked him and told him to stay put while they went to retrieve the others. Being cuffed to armrest was the only safety measurement they took before leaving, closing the doors to the room behind them. Stephen slunk back on the couch, closing his eyes and taking a deep breath in. He actually did it. Once Natasha and Clint were walking down the long corridor. "Believe anything he said?" Clint hummed. "Part of it." Natasha smiled softly. You sympathize. The man huffed out a humorless laugh. Can't hide anything from you, huh? And after a short pause, remember what I said about him reminding me of Castle? That's not all. Also reminds me of myself. A sigh came out of his mouth. And that's not a good thing. Author's notes. And that was it again. Crawls back into the shadows. Remember to join my Discord. Rah! Link to the Discord. And that's a wrap on chapter 17. I told you guys it was a little longer. I really think that it's interesting to see Steven talk his way through it and Steven's point of view, and then specifically the part where Mark and Jake feel bad for basically doing what Steven was describing. It's not like they can help it. That's their disorder. But also they feel bad because Steven probably did feel like he wasn't in control because he wasn't in control, the others were in control. And it's interesting to think about that they're going to have to talk about that later and make it more of a partnership thing that they have going on, which good for them. I'm happy for them. Anyway, please go show the original author ShizunaRey some love, and please leave me a comment. I love reading your comments. They make me so happy. Please leave me specifically hate comments, and I'll shout you in the next video. Unfortunately, no one has left me any comments on this series except for one or two at the beginning. So yeah, yay. No one likes the series except me, apparently. That's all besides the point. I hope you pups enjoy, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.